Although it sucks to admit defeat and realize that I paid $120 to beta test a subpar game like Diablo 4, it has also created some free time for me to try out other quality games that I might not have played. I planned on playing Diablo 4 for many, many hours, but that just isn't the reality anymore. So I tried out games like Remnant 2, which was amazing. I've put 40 hours into Baldur's Gate 3 so far, which is absolutely stunning and insane, as I'm sure you've heard from just about everyone. And while those games are great, I was craving some ARPG action to fill that D4 void. I wanted to kill a bunch of stuff, get a pile of loot that was actually interesting, and try a lot of new builds and cool skills and just explore a new world. So I took the advice of quite a few of my viewers and purchased Last Epoch. The game was 45 Canadian dollars on Steam. It's still in early access just like Diablo 4, but it's actually a good game. It feels like the game was built starting with the quality of life systems first, so they didn't miss anything right off the bat. There is so much effort put into this game, and it really shows. I want to highlight a few major differences and interesting mechanics from Last Epoch that you guys will hopefully appreciate, especially if you've played Diablo 4. I want to start with the one negative that I can find for Last Epoch. About the only thing I can say Diablo 4 does better than Last Epoch is the graphics. Now, Epoch doesn't look bad per se, but lined up to Diablo 4, it certainly isn't at the same level of graphical fidelity. Given the likely millions and millions of dollars in development budget differences between the two games, I'd say it holds its own. Most places and environments in the game still look great, and there's a wide variety of them. The enemies and animations are solid, and player skills are mostly serviceable. And for me personally, graphics are the least important thing. You can have a Ferrari parked outside, but if there's nothing under the hood, it's not worth driving. D4 is the Ferrari. Last Epoch can be the fully loaded 2023 Honda Civic. It's not that bad looking on the outside, but it's got just about every feature you could ask for on the inside. So the first feature that I want to highlight is a pretty big one. It's the loot filter. You're going to fall in love with this thing. It's absolutely loaded with, a collection of customizable features and options. You can save individual features for specific characters if you want, or you can just turn on separate filters on or off. It's totally up to you. Let's say, for example, I don't want to see white items anymore, okay? They're useless later on. I don't want to see them. So I'm going to hit hide. I'm going to add a condition. I'm going to add a condition here of rarity. I'm going to say normal. Add. Done. Hide all normal items. It's checked on. It's that simple. A more advanced option that you might do is, let's say you're playing a fire mage or a fire sorcerer, which is what I'm playing here. You want to make sure that you don't miss any fire items. So I'm going to add a new rule. I'm going to say that I want to show and I want to emphasize. Actually, I want to recolor and emphasize. I really don't want to miss any item that has fire damage on it. I'm going to make it red. Okay. And we're going to add a condition here. And we're going to say it's going to be an affix. And there's 16 different damage types, but we only want to see fire. Okay. We'll confirm that. You can add way more advanced options if you want, but we're just going to keep it simple. And boom, there we go. So any item at all from any category that has fire damage on it that drops will be in bright red capital letters. You can't miss it. The point is there's a lot of different things you can do with this system to streamline your time spent and your time filtering through all these different items. Instead of you having to manually do it, the game can do a lot of that for you. If you know what you're looking for or what you don't want to be looking for, it's just an excellent loot filter. It's probably the best one I've ever seen, actually. So now that we've filtered our items and we're only picking up the things that we want, or we're only seeing the things that we want to see, how is this stash system in Last Epoch? Well, it's insanely good. It blows Diablo 4 out of the water. It's incredibly embarrassing on Blizzard's part. So the stash here so far, I've bought 10 tabs. I can still buy more, but I mean, I have no need for them yet. I haven't played the game enough to fill the first 10. But there's plenty of stash tabs, all purchasable with in-game currency, not any microtransactions, anything like that. You can sort them, of course. You can configure each individual stash tab. You can name them. You can color code them. You can give them icons based on maybe you're putting all your helmets in one. whatever you want. You can basically, like, I have one for idols here that I've named, and you can put everything nice and clean and organized and color coded. You can actually search. I can just type in fire. There we go. Shows me items that have fire damage on it. I mean, it seems so simple. It seems so obvious in the year 2023. You know, loot filters and stash tabs and stuff like that have been around for years now in other games. And Diablo 4 comes out and it just forgets it exists, and it just hopes that you forget it too. Last Epoch kills it. It's I don't know what else you could really ask for. You can even categorize them if you want. You could have certain tabs with certain there's so much you can do with this system. It's great. So let's move on. I want to show you guys some raw gameplay of me completing one of the end game systems that's called like Monolith or the Echo system. I'll show you some gameplay, I'll explain what's going on, and we'll go from there. So I'm about to finish this Monolith, where my goal was to kill 3 siege golems. It shows me exactly on the map where they are. The dungeon is just full of monsters to kill the whole time. There's no backtracking really, almost ever, and you'll see how quick you get in and out of these things. So I just got to kill this dude and I'm done. Okay, so he died. You can see my loot filter here triggered some items that have minion on them. Both of these have minion, so that's why those show up, so I can examine them if I want. You'll see here how it says open portal. I can just literally use my town portal, hit T, and leave. I could stay and get some bonus stability, which is a whole nother system used for the late game Monolith system. But like, let's say you really like the map that you're on, or you find it easy to kill some of these minions. I could sit here and just kill some more and then leave whenever I want. But for the sake of showing you, so I'm going to hit T, go to my Monolith. So this takes you back to the late game hub. You'll notice right beside me is my stash, a vendor, and the crafting forge. All right here. They don't make you go to some town and do some other bullshit. It's all right beside you here. Here's one of my rewards, which was gold, which is what I had selected on the map for this Monolith. And then here's the other rewards, which is a bunch of crafting materials that I can easily pick up. They go in my inventory here, and then I immediately transfer them to my crafting material inventory. They don't clog up your inventory like some other games do. And then I can just go here. This was the map I was on, and I can immediately just select another map with the affixes that I want. Let's see, this Echo here, it has rare swords, 15% increased item rarity, etc. Okay, we'll pick this one, start, and boom, it teleports me right into the next dungeon. You're ready to go. You start fighting. Game on. There's no bullshit where you got to run to the next place. You got to craft a sigil and figure out where if you want to use it or not. And there's no magic find or anything like that. This game just gets you in and out, and it just goes. And you get when you combine that with the loot filter and the fact that you can just keep killing things, you constantly feel like you're finding the things you want to find, and you're not wasting time sifting through maps, sifting through garbage items, etc. It's all just so clean and consistent. All right, so one of the last things that I want to highlight about Last Epoch that I think is just amazing is the way that they handle the skill system and the class system. So I started the game as a primalist, which is kind of like a druid shaman type character, which is why they have specs here. But this is the baseline kind of skill system where you pick a couple passives up here. Yeah, they unlock usable skills down here, and this is like the baseline of your class. And then once you reach a certain level, you have to pick a spec. And I chose Beastmaster because I wanted to play like a companion type druid, something that I couldn't do in Diablo 4 because it's garbage. Then you have this whole skill tree that unlocks. Okay, so these are all passive. Some of them add auras and active effects and buff you and your minions and stuff like that. You unlock these usable skills and usable pets down here. And this is just one of the 3 skill trees just for the primalist. So there's 5 different base classes right now, and then each one has 3 subclasses as well that are fully fleshed out. So there's a lot of choice here. There's a lot of customization just here when your character levels up, okay? So that's one thing. That's great. It's really flexible. There's important choices to be made. But then there's a skill system where your individual skills that you choose to use also have their own skill trees. Every single one is unique. And now you can never earn enough points to get all the skills in a single tree. So you got to make choices here. And like, it takes concepts and simple things like leap, for example. You know, it's leap. You just leap, right? It's every game has that. But this one makes it so you're actually choosing, like, do you want to cleanse your minions and heal them when you leap? Do you want to cast other spells when you land? Do you want to use leap as an actual damage ability where you kill people and it resets? One that I really like is summon storm crows, where there's so much flexibility here. Like, do I want my crows to be armor shredding, buffing crows that buff me and my other minions? Do I want them to have lots of chain lightning and have a whole bunch of crows that are doing, lightning damage and freezing enemies and stuff like that? You can make it so you teleport to wherever you use your crow's active ability. You can make it so you only have one big crow that does tons of extra damage itself. So there's just so much flexibility here with the system that, like, I've hardly scratched using the companion build. I've only used 3 of the companions, and there's like 7 different ones that I could use, and they all have different unique builds just for the pets. It's a crazy system. It's so well done. There's so much to explore here, and I haven't been looking up any builds at all, nothing about this game, just digging into it myself, and it's just been so much fun to play. So to wrap up the video, let me just say this. We all know that I think Diablo 4 is not a good game and that fixing it is a gigantic challenge. Last Epoch, on the other hand, is well made and full of features, and it's just a lot of fun. Like, you want to keep playing and farming and grinding. There's a lot of little things I didn't even mention, such as how the crafting system is also insanely deep and rewarding. You can go back and fight any boss you want by simply walking back into the boss room. There's an idols and blessing system that's really cool as well. And a big point for me anyway is that I found more unique and set items in my 32 hours of Last Epoch than exist entirely in Diablo 4. In conclusion, Last Epoch has the quality of life mechanics you want in an ARPG, and you get them without sacrificing any of the fun or depth that you would expect. In my opinion, this game is superior to Diablo 4, and if you're still craving ARPG action, you should definitely check it out. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care.